Here's what I see with almost everyone relocating here. You search moving to Peoria, Arizona, you watch a couple of videos and come away picturing Peoria as one place, one fill, one price range, and it's not. Peoria runs almost 20 miles north to south. The southern end, Old Town Peoria, around the Peoria Sports Complex, that's the established Peoria, built out, mature, been there for decades. Then there's North Peoria, up towards Lake Pleasant, and that's where most of the new construction is going up and where most of the people relocating to Arizona are actually landing. Same city name, completely different experience, and a completely different cost structure. If you don't know which Peoria you're buying into, that's exactly where people get blindsided, usually on taxes. We'll get to that. Relocating is already a lot. New state, new area, trying to picture a life you can't see yet. That's completely reasonable. So my job today is simple. Make Peoria make sense before you ever get on a plane. Let me show you the lay of the land first because it makes everything else click. Picture Peoria as a long strip down south. You got Old Town and the area around the Peoria Sports Complex. That's the historic core. As you head north, you cross the 101 and the homes start getting newer. Keep going and you're into North Peoria. Newer communities, wider roads, mountain views, and it keeps climbing up all the way towards Lake Pleasant and the 303. So when somebody tells me they're moving to Peoria, my first question is always, which Peoria? Because the answer changes your budget before we even talk about a house. Up in North Peoria, the 85383 zip code, the median home is running right around $660,000. Drop down into older parts of Peoria and you've got zip codes sitting closer to the high 300,000s, low 400,000s. Same city, almost a $300,000 difference, just depending on which Peoria you pick. Real quick, before we go any further, if you're working through a move to the West Valley, this channel is for you. I put out new videos every single week, the neighborhoods, homes for sale, the numbers, the things that you actually want to know before you make a move. So go ahead and subscribe. Now let me get specific because North Peoria isn't one neighborhood either. A lot of online searches are going to point you to Vistancia. It's the big master plan community up here. And it even has active adult options like Trilogy built right into its beautiful landscape. It's beautiful and it earns attention, but it's not the only way to live in North Peoria. If you want something a little less congested with higher home values and those big mountain view lots, you've got communities like Alora Vita and Tierra del Rio. Different ages of homes, different feel, but that same North End lifestyle. And that lifestyle is a real thing. People move up here for mountain views and the outdoor living. Almost every community is built around walking trails and almost every one of them has an HOA. That 85383 zip code is one of the most sought after areas in the whole West Valley. And if you want to get a feel for what homes are offered in North Peoria, check out our virtual tours right here on this channel. New construction up here generally starts in the high 400,000s. You can get in at around 470,000, but the typical new build runs closer to the high 500s, low 600,000s. And the newest neighborhoods like North Point go from 500,000s, the high 500,000s on upward. And as more job opportunities come to the area like TSMC, Amkor, and office parks, more builders are preparing to break ground on new developments. I get why people are drawn to it. New planned amenities right here. For a lot of people relocating from out of state, that's the dream. I just want you walking in with your eyes open because there's a cost up here that doesn't show up on the price tag. And we'll get to that in a minute. But here's the question almost nobody answers for you. Why is all of this getting built up here in the first place? Why the boom? Like I mentioned, it's the jobs. North Peoria is turning into a tech corridor, and that's the real engine underneath the housing. Right next door in North Phoenix, TSMC, one of the biggest semiconductor companies in the world, already has its first chip plant up and running, and the campus they're building out is projected for around 6,000 high-tech jobs across its first 3 plants. And right here in Peoria, a company called Amkor broke ground at the end of 2025 on a $7 billion semiconductor packaging campus, adding up to 3,000 jobs at what the city is calling the Peoria's innovative core. Now, I'm going to be straight with you because the timeline matters. Amkor isn't open yet. Construction wraps around 2027 and the production starts in 2028. So if you're picturing walking into a job next month, that's not the timeline, but that is exactly why so many people are buying up here right now. They can see what's coming and they want to be in before it fully arrives. This isn't a sleepy bedroom suburb anymore. North Peoria is turning into a place where in a few years, a lot of people are going to live, work, and play all within a few miles. That changes the math on buying here, and it's worth understanding before you decide. So when you're choosing between the older part of Peoria and the newer communities up north, there's a cost that doesn't show up on the price tag. A lot of the newer master plan communities sit inside something called a Communities Facilities District, a CFD. If you're coming from California, think Melrose. It's an extra tax line on your tax bill that helped pay for the roads, the parks, the water that made the community possible. A CFD is tied to the community, so where you buy decides whether you've got one or not. Here's a real example of how this affects your housing costs. I pulled 2 Peoria homes that both sold this past May for right around the same price. One's in the older established 85383 area. It sold for $625,000 with property taxes around $2,100 a year and no CFD. The other, in a newer 85383 community, it sold for just a little less, $600,000, but its taxes ran about $2,750. Same money going in, about $600 a year apart on the tax bill, and the CFDs and the school tax bonds are the difference. Now, North Peoria isn't right for everyone. If you want to be closer to downtown Phoenix, that's the southern end. Old Town Peoria, the area around the Peoria Sports Complex, the P83 district, you've got more resale homes there, generally more established neighborhoods, and you're closer to the center of the valley. And a lot of those communities don't have an HOA. Some of those older zip codes are sitting in the high 300s to the mid 400,000s versus the $660,000 up north. And here's a real lifestyle difference a lot of people don't think about until they're already attached to a house: the HOA question. Up north, almost every community has an HOA. That's what keeps the trails, the parks, the front yard standards consistent. Down south, in a lot of the older neighborhoods, you'll find homes with no HOA at all, or an HOA that does nothing more than maintain a community park. If the idea of someone telling you what color to paint your front door drives you crazy, that difference matters a lot. Different trade-off, less brand new, but often simpler on the tax side, and more freedom in what you do with your own place. So what do you actually do here up north? The outdoor is the whole draw. Lake Pleasant is right here, boating, kayaking, paddleboarding, hiking trails along the edge of the desert, and it's not a once a year thing. People up here build their weekends around it. Then there's shopping and dining catching up to the rooftops. The trailhead off of 83rd and Happy Valley is a brand new mixed-use spot with a Safeway, a Gina ramen bar that's already open, Crust Italian kitchen, and more dining coming this year. That's the kind of thing North Peoria didn't have a few years ago, and now it's filling in fast. In the spring, the Peoria Sports Complex hosts spring training. The Mariners and the Padres share it. and the whole area comes alive. The P83 district has restaurants and nightlife. And if you want a bigger night out, Westgate over in Glendale gives you concerts, the arena, and more dining, an easy hop from most of Peoria. My point is that you're not choosing between old and convenient. There's a lot of life out here either way, and up north, more of it shows up every year. Now let's talk getting around, because the old way of thinking about this is changing. The Loop 101 and the Loop 303 are your main arteries up here. They wrap the West Valley and feed into I-17 down into town. If your job is downtown Phoenix or near Sky Harbor, I'll be straight with you. Going further north is a real trade-off. From up in Estancia, you're looking at about a 45-minute drive, give or take 40 miles when traffic's light. And drive that at 8 in the morning on the I-17 and it's a totally different story. But here's what's shifting, and it goes back to those jobs. A lot of the people moving up here aren't driving downtown anymore. If your work ends up tied to the tech corridor, TSMC's campus in North Phoenix, or down the road at Amkor right here in North Peoria, you're talking a short hop on the Loop 303, not an hour on the I-17. So the commute question isn't just how far am I from downtown anymore. It's where is my work actually going to be? For a growing number of people up here, north is the short drive, not the long one. Either way, drive it yourself at the time you'd actually be making it before you decide on a home. Which Peoria is right for you? So here's how I think about it. If you want brand new or a newer planned community, amenity heavy, you love the outdoor lifestyle, and you're okay being a little further out where you can see the Sonoran Desert around you, North Peoria is probably your lane, especially if your work is going to be up here. If you want closer in, more established, simpler on the tax side, maybe no HOA, look south around Old Town and the Peoria Sports Complex. And none of this means one side is better. It's about which Peoria fits the life you're actually trying to build. That's the whole point of doing this, before you move, not after. So how do I actually help a family figuring out which Peoria is theirs? It starts with a conversation, and not one you'd expect. Sure, I want to know the basics. What size of home are you looking for? How many bedrooms? How big of a yard? But that's the easy part. What I really want to know is how you live. What do you do with your free time? How do you spend your hours outside of work? What's the hobby you'd be lost without? Because that's what tells me which community actually fits you. Somebody who wants to be out on the water every single weekend belongs in a very different part of Peoria than somebody who wants to walk to dinner on a Friday night. Then I ask about the drive. How far do you really want to be from work, from the kids' school? Because a commute that looks fine on a map can wear on you in real life. And then the big one. What does your ideal community even look like to you? And do you think of a future home as part of a community, or are you just thinking about the home? These questions matter because the answer tells us everything. That's how we land on the Peoria and Peoria neighborhood that fits the life you're actually trying to build. Not just the house you can afford. So if you're moving to North Peoria and you want to know which part actually fits what you're after, the real prices, the real tax picture, the honest commute, and what's coming to the area, that's the conversation I love having. If any of this sounds like your situation, drop me a message, give me a call. The link is right down below, and we'll figure out which Peoria is your Peoria. And if these breakdowns help bring clarity for your future move, make sure to subscribe. There's a new video every week. I'm Cassandra Chavez with the Chavez Dream Home Team, and when you're ready, I'd love to chat.